Hello everyone, welcome to episode 2 of Fit Enough. I'm Matt.
And I'm Sai, and in this podcast we aim to make health and fitness simple.
Guys, we've been a couple of Cinderellas cleaning this place up. Honestly, if anybody needs a deep clean, and if you're willing to pay for the airfare, Sai and I will do a really good job.
We've been on it today, nearly there.
And yesterday. It shouldn't have taken 2 days, to be fair.
Yeah, we do a good job, but we take a long time.
So we're doing a deep clean because we have some subletters coming in for the month. Don't tell our estate agents, please. Don't tell Bondi Realty.
What? I know no one's going to tell them.
Don't tell Sarah at Bondi Realty. So we're giving the place a deep clean, and my God, you can live in some filth if it builds up day by day.
Giving all our teeth like skeletons.
I mean, it's not everybody will have it, surely, of like vents getting
it was very
incredibly dusty.
Like you have an extractor fan that no longer works as an extractor fan.
I was saying to Sai, it's like when they find a sheep that's been out in the wild for a year and they shear it and it's like record amounts of wool. That's literally what our vent was like. Anyway, it's clean now, so now you know.
Not to mention the sand on the carpet. That gets right in there.
That's all you're doing as well.
Yeah, and probably mostly me from bringing sandy surfboards and shoes back in.
Sandy feet.
But it's all gone now.
It's all gone, and then tomorrow we're flying to Vietnam for a month. We're going to take you guys with us in several ways. We're hoping to do a podcast while we're out there, hoping to document some of our workouts. Should be good fun.
Daily vlog.
And it's like it's a travel around the country for a month from north to south, but we're also going to be working as we go to test out the full digital nomad lifestyle.
And trying to keep up with our health and fitness while we're doing it. So it'll be a real test.
Imagine we just came back and we had lost it all.
If it happens, it happens.
We'd have to keep this podcast going, but just be like, sometimes.
The honest truth.
Sometimes you put on 10 kilos and...
We'll see. It'll be worth it if it does happen.
All right, so today we are going through 7 tips for working out at home. Going to the gym can be daunting. Some people just don't particularly like it. I can completely understand that perspective.
Or it's just really expensive.
Yeah, true.
Depending
expensive,
on where you are.
Inconvenient in several ways, and you just prefer to do things at home. But then it's kind of like, you're at home. Where do you start? Where do you begin? And that's what we want to make as simple as possible. Give you 7 really useful tips that you could start implementing straight away and get working out at home. Do you want to take the first one away?
I'll take the first one. So
get basic equipment.
That's it. And I think it could be super, super basic. You could even start working out at home with no equipment whatsoever.
Yeah.
But I think as well as having equipment that you can use and to effectively strength train, it's also, I think, getting in the mindset and getting in the right, putting the things in place, which makes it harder for you to back out of.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But yeah, so you could start with nothing at all. But a couple of things I think is worth investing in, which is number 1 is a resistance band.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've not done any strength training before and this is your way of getting into it, getting a super light one.
Yeah.
So normally it's that they're generally quite standardized, but do have a look, but they're sort of yellow, little yellow band.
Thin yellow.
And then a little red band, a really good starting point. So that's one bit of equipment. An exercise mat as well, just having that sort of out can make things really comfortable, but again, it's not essential. So just know what you're going to need.
I like that idea though of like the mat can very much symbolize your exercise space.
Yeah.
And it's almost like when you're on the mat or in and around the mat, that's your gym. That's your gym. That's your time to work out. So yeah, I do think, they're relatively, you can get relatively cheap mat.
Yeah.
And
can spend as much as
Yeah.
listeners you want on it.
Yeah, there are probably some really expensive mats out there. But I think it would be useful in that mindset sense as well.
Mm-hmm. So,
Any other equipment?
so resistance bands, exercise mat, and then the only other thing I'd say, and again it's optional, is a pair of dumbbells. So again, if you've never done any strength training before, starting off with like anything between 2 to 5 kilograms
Yeah.
is a good starting point. So if you go to a shop just to hold it, and if it feels like it's sort of a good weight and it's not feeling too daunting, then that's going to be a good starting point. If you're sort of quite well seasoned already, you know what's going to be a good level for you for that. So optional, but I think yeah, those three things: resistance bands, mat, and then a pair of dumbbells.
There are those adjustable ones as well, aren't there, where you can like
Yeah,
take and subtract
I really like them.
plates from the dumbbells. They're quite useful. And the alternative, as we know from some of our 20-minute strengthers, is just use what you have lying around the house, like bags of flour,
Yeah.
bottles of wine, bottles of water,
A backpack, you can fill that
a
up
backpack.
really heavy.
Yeah, like it really does all make a big difference. If you think about a kilo of flour and you're doing some, I don't know, shoulder raises or something, and you're a beginner, that's going to be more than enough, isn't it?
That's going to be a really good starting point. Even just lifting up your arms can can get quite tiring.
Yeah.
Like we do recommend adding weights as you go, but when you're just starting off, it's just getting used to it, taking away all the barriers. And yeah, I think we were surprised when we were in Woolies and just picking up we picked up some flour to make some pancakes. Like, oh, this could be a good way. We should tell people about this.
Spread the word. Spread the good word. Okay.
What do you think about shoes and clothes?
Clothes, I think, is a good one to be like, this is my gym gear. Let's get going. And then once you take it off, you've kind of like compartmentalized the workout. So I like that. Shoes is probably like a next level. Might be a good safety idea if you're using those adjustable dumbbells. If a plate happens to slip or a bottle of wine drops from your hands. Yeah, I think shoes are very optional.
Yeah, and I think like we'd always recommend trying to work out without shoes.
Yeah.
If it's comfortable for you and to start building up the foot strength, which often gets neglected. But I know not everybody feels really comfortable working out barefoot. So yeah, again, I agree, it's pretty optional.
Yeah. All right, I think we ticked that one off the list. Number 2, guys, follow a program. Not necessarily a specific program.
However, you know where we are.
However, we've got you covered. Yeah, the idea behind following a program, obviously the standout thing for this is going to be that progressive overload. So we know that if we want to get stronger, build more muscle, and gain more confidence in our movement, we need to be doing exercises that challenge us and over a longer period of time push us to new levels of challenge and strength. And this means that it's so much better to follow a structured program that pretty much takes all the guesswork out of it and like bakes in this progress for you. So then you can very much just follow it. And even on the days where you're like, you know what, I've had a long day, I'm not sure I can be bothered for this workout, you know that it's all set out for you and you can just go into that autopilot mode, jump into the workout and you're doing it and you finished it before you know it.
I think that's a huge part of it as well, that sort of not having to think about it.
Yeah.
I think decision fatigue is such a real thing, particularly if you're trying to do it at the end of the day. There's like so many reasons creeping into one's brain about why you shouldn't, why you're feeling a little bit more tired or got a next tiny bit sore today. And you know, sometimes there will be genuine reasons why people can't do it, but I think 99% of the time it's probably an excuse, and doing the workout will just be so much more beneficial. So when the program's all ready for you, just don't have to make any decisions about which video you want to follow along with,
Yeah.
or what if you're making up yourself, like what exercise to come
Yeah.
next.
Which can sometimes be quite fun, right? There's still, if you have days where you are feeling good and you're like, you know what, this might seem crazy to people, but I really fancy doing like split squats today and RDLs. So let me make sure I do them. That's great. That kind of like freestyling. Um, but more times than not, you're going to thank yourself that you know exactly what you're doing that day. So as soon as you step on the mat, you're in that zone and you're flying, you're doing your thing.
All
Yeah.
right, yeah.
All right.
Number
Scheduling
3.
it. So this kind of follows suit with what we're saying about follow the program. If you're trying to take out as many barriers as possible to working out, so you're making it easy for yourself and kind of like almost too easy for yourself, we say. The more you can plan and program and structure your exercise, the easier it's going to feel to actually get it done. And then the only hard part left is actually doing it, which is great because you can put your all in and you haven't reached that point of decision fatigue, or your battery is so low because you're thinking of trying to fit it in and what exercises to do, and it's all too much. So make it easy by scheduling your workouts.
Boom.
I would say that you should schedule them almost like it's a meeting with yourself. And I think we've said this to a few people before, but taking care of your health it's just not fixed at all in terms of your list of priorities, particularly for like parents or people who have busy work schedules, which is probably most of us. Your health will, as the day goes on, just drop down and down and down that list of priorities. Whereas if you have that like meeting with yourself to exercise in the diary, it's going to make it so much easier to actually jump into that workout, because then you're telling yourself, number one, that you're prioritizing your health, but number two, nobody can creep into that time that you've set for yourself. Obviously, there'll be emergencies, but if Deborah at work wants a meeting at 12 and you said you're working out at lunch, she's going to have to wait.
Deborah can wait. Yeah. I think I agree with that. I think I'm a bit more relaxed than you.
Of course you are. Of course you
so
are.
I schedule it in my diary. I do that, but quite often it then gets moved. So I know I've got this block. I've blocked out time within the day to do it. And sometimes I might just be feeling like particularly productive with work, so I just want to carry on, or the waves might look good, so I want to go out surfing instead. And I'll just look in my diary to say, okay, I would rather do this now for whatever reason, but I'm going to move this later and I'll just do it later. And I can see that time that I still have that I'm going to commit to it.
So it's a bit more kind of floating rather than fixed.
Yeah, it's fixed in the day. I'm going to get it. I've like scheduled that time for it.
Yeah.
But part of that might be my excuse of putting it off, but I know I will get it done.
Yeah. No, I'm a big fan of like ticking things off the list, as I'm sure you can probably gather already. So when I have it in my diary and then I do it and I tick it off, it's like, yes, next.
Yeah, really motivating.
But yours is ticking it off the list. It's just a matter of
delaying it and then ticking it off.
11:59 tick.
That happens with Duolingo a lot.
Okay, we're on to the next one, Si.
3, 4.
Let me read it out to you. Don't make it hard for yourself to do it.
I can't remember where we're actually going with this one. But
yeah, that's kind of abrupt.
We've got in brackets, finding a playlist is a small one that has a big impact. Yeah. So I don't know how many times this has happened to you, but there's been many times in the past where I've told myself I'm going to go for a run. And before that run, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to need some music. And then I'll just spend like half an hour at home trying to find the playlist. I'm in my running shoes. I've got my hat on. I'm ready to go. But I've just not sorted out the playlist before. And I just can't get myself to go unless I have that playlist. So it's a small thing, but like again, it's all about sort of planning ahead, making the decisions while you're in that sort of frame of
Mm,
mind where you know what's going to be good for you, like you know you're going to do it. Make those decisions then, so then when it actually comes to doing it, you literally don't have any decision to make. You just got to do it. You've
yeah.
planned it all. So playlist is one thing, like choosing what to wear, like laying your clothes out, like that might seem like such a small thing,
Mm,
but all these decisions make up, especially when they're decisions of things you are not used to. Like this is for lots of people going to be a new habit, so
yeah.
you want to just remove all of that potential resistance. Uh, so yes, finding your playlist in advance or your podcast, whatever it might
Hmm.
be, will really help. And then I guess you go.
I was going to say the music thing. Maybe this even needs like a bullet point for itself. But I've even had it before when I've been working out at the outdoor gym, where I'm just like really not feeling it, feeling pretty sluggish, and then someone will come along with a big speaker, put some music
Mm-hmm.
on. It's usually this one guy in particular that puts some like funk music on or something, and you're like,
Oh
this is
yeah.
great. This is so good. Like, taking care of myself, challenging myself. Obviously, it helps that it's in that outdoor gym, but you can kind of create your own happy space at
Mm-hmm.
home. And just like, don't make it like you're in the dungeon trying to like, you know, work 100%. Just make it as enjoyable as
Mm-hmm.
possible.
Yeah. Yeah, completely. Like it's like you having this is time you get to spend for yourself.
Mm,
So yeah, whether that's finding a playlist you like or um, even watching something like an
yeah.
episode of something, you can like stack the thing that you're maybe a little bit daunted by with something that you really like. So
Mm.
you get to do that thing that you like um, while working out.
Also, a big one. Maybe this is maybe this is too far, but having like what you're eating afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Like a post workout meal or snack is going to be great anyway. But when I'm working out and I know that I've got a particular thing to look forward to, whether it's dinner or like, oh, I'm going to get myself like a protein bar that I
Mm-hmm.
like, or I love like porridge or anything to do with
Mm-hmm.
oats. So I know I'm going to go home and refuel with some oats. That's pretty
Yeah,
good as
treat
well.
yourself.
Yeah, that's going to get you through the workout.
Yeah, whether it's like if you work out in the morning, you're gonna like go to the coffee shop and get yourself like the
Yeah.
coffee that you like. Yeah, reward yourself for good behaviors. I like that.
So don't make it hard for yourself to do it. And the flip side of that, reward yourself for doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Yeah.
and I just want to say one more thing on that.
Nope, we're moving on.
No,
No, go on, go on.
your point on having like good music to motivate you.
Yeah.
So I studied music at university
Ooh.
and did an extended essay on the impact of music on
Oh,
sports
cool.
and performance. Um, no idea where it's gone now, but if I remember correctly, it does like there's been some studies on this, and people generally do perform better when they're
Mm.
listening to music for a number of reasons. But one of the most prominent ones is it's just the distraction. Like
Mm-hmm.
you're then no longer if you're sort of working out in silence and it's daunting and you're exhausted and everything just feels really hard. Like
Yeah.
you're going to be thinking about that. You're going to be like, ugh, in your head, just complaining. Whereas if you had a really fun playlist on, that's just going to distract you. You're not going to be thinking about how tired you are or as much. And
Yeah.
then have that extra energy, which is sort of like coffee has that more um, more of a chemical effect than a sort of
Mm.
psychological effect, to just block out that sort of tiredness and that
Yeah.
complaining you might have.
Yeah, yeah. Do you know what you've just made me think of as well? When I do those classes on Saturday with the Life Beyond Illness
Mm-hmm.
group, there's a guy in the class who uh, he'll have a cup of tea on the side because obviously
Mm-hmm.
it's a morning class for the UK. So we'll do like a really hard set, really challenging set, and then he just kind of like has a break and has a sip of a cup of tea, and it's just really nice to
Yeah.
be like, this doesn't have to be all in
Yeah.
exercise. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it can be just another
Yeah,
part, and there's a nice distraction to go with it.
and that's so funny because like a cup of tea is often associated with like relaxing. It's just
Yeah,
like not doesn't often go with exercise.
but like really pushes
Yeah.
himself in the set, and then we'll just be like, ah, good.
Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, the hour's done and you've
Yeah.
had a nice cup of tea
Exactly.
and yeah, done a few sets. Okay, designated space is the next one. And this kind of goes back to what we're saying about having the mat on the floor. But I think it's really helpful to know what room you're going to be doing it in. Also, if anyone else is in the house, maybe being like, this is my time to exercise. Can you do me a favor and not come in the room when I'm exercising?
Sorry, that just reminded me of what we were talking about before as like kids, where I think everyone's gone through this. I feel like everybody's had this experience where I don't know, maybe like age 9 or 10, where you're like, I'm gonna get a 6 pack,
Yeah.
and then you. I remember just like in my bedroom when everyone's like away or like I'm like finally got some alone time, and I'll just like try and do like 20 sit-ups and pray nobody walks in the room because it would be too embarrassing.
I've definitely done it before when like I'm like, okay, like parents are downstairs, dad's prepping dinner, mum's doing work or whatever. Let me go into my room and do some press ups. This is going to be sick.
Yeah.
Get some like motivational music on. See, even then I knew that too.
Yeah.
And then you're doing the press ups and you're like, oh my God, I'm massive. This is nuts. And then my dad would be like, Matt, dinner. And you're like, coming.
Yeah. Please don't, like, I'm going to hold my breath in so people don't know I've just
Holding
done
the
some
door.
exercise. Yeah.
I'll be out in a second. Yes, but so designated space, nobody bursting in on you, that would be quite nice. Or maybe you don't care and that's fine as well. Like Simon and I, sofa's just there. One of us will be like sitting there doing our work. The other one will be here, just working out, and that's also fine. We don't
We don't judge here
we
in
don't
this
pay it no
household.
mind. Yeah, yeah. The other one's not
Why are
sitting
you
there like,
exercising for?
boo. So yes, that might help for some. I think also having all of your equipment in that space as well. So as soon as you get there, like your bands are there, your mat's there, all you have to do is roll up. You're not running around the house being like, where did I put those bands? And like, oh, my top's in the wash, blah, blah, blah. Like, have it all there if you can. So then this is complete opposite to you. I've just realised this is a complete opposite to you. Go on.
What do you mean?
Say your take.
So, while 5 minutes after you scheduled that workout with yourself, you just start running around like, shit, I've only got 25 minutes left of this half an hour workout. Just exercise in your underwear. Like, just get it done.
Also, that is quite a good way of being like, right, you're behind now, just get it done.
Yeah.
Like then you're not thinking about it at least. But
I wouldn't recommend that.
for this particular list, have a designated space. Next, get into the right frame of mind. So we're thinking about a couple of things here which come to mind. Number one, it's usually quite useful just to have, and it can be really brief, but just to have like a pause. I find this quite useful. I kind of use my walk down to the gym, which is maybe like 5-10 minutes as this moment. But also what I like to usually program for lots of people is even before the warm up, you do like 5 deep breaths, or maybe you just lie on the floor and like have your hands on your belly or your heart or something. I really like it because number one, you're kind of tuning in with yourself. Why are you laughing?
Carry on.
No, go on. Share it with the group.
I just think so my version of that is lying on the floor, being like, oh, I can't be bothered, scrolling on Instagram, and then like, shit, I've only got 25 minutes left of this workout.
You're starting to see the differences between our styles. Okay, so you're lying down, moment of pause. Why I like this is you can like compartmentalize your day a little bit. So particularly if you've been like stressed with work, you don't really want to take that energy into the workout. I find it then affects my performance, definitely increases the risk of injury, and I just don't come out of it feeling my best. Whereas if I have that moment of pause, whether that's doing some breath work, whether that's just lying there for a moment, or whether that's incorporating like a nice 5-10 minute warm up, you have that opportunity to be like, right, this is for me. All of that can at least be put on pause until after the workout, and I can really just focus on my movement, my body, getting myself better. So that's why I like to have a little moment to get in the right frame of mind.
I definitely feel better when I actually do that. And I think, to be fair, yeah, I probably am, I'd say 75% consistent, and we'll just like get up and do it when scheduled, and then those scrolling moments and rushing around to do it, it's probably like 20% of the time.
Also, you have a very like purposeful, intentional warm up, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah,
slowly starting to move your joints around and things like that. I think I'm a bit more haphazard with the warm up. So then maybe I feel like I need a moment before that warm up to be like, all right, chill out, relax. And then I start swinging my arms around like a madman.
I think, yeah, there's definitely a switch between, it's still like that sort of quick thinking brain be like, oh, how can I get out of doing this workout? Because it still happens to me. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like most days there will be that voice that creeps in, be like, but it's hard to do the workout. But then I know I've made that decision. So then as soon as I like a switch turns and I'm doing it and I'm not making excuses to myself, and that, yes, that warm up definitely will then be like, it consolidates it. Like those voices are completely gone and I'm in the zone and I'm ready to have a really good workout.
That's the thing. Your brain is so sneaky and it can rationalize anything away. So if you're here, the workout's on the other side, there are going to be 100 reasons that are stopping you from crossing that threshold kind of thing and starting the workout. But you need to, as we said, make it as easy as possible for yourself to cross that threshold and just get stuck into the workout. And this list is kind of designed to make sure that it's as easy as possible to cross. But also there's an element of you being like, okay, come on now, like, let's do it, because there's always going to be those voices. You just need to make sure you're always a little bit louder than those voices, maybe, and sense yourself.
And it's like a muscle in itself. It's
for sure.
Like practicing consistency, practicing following through with the commitments that you made for yourself is it's a muscle that you need to work and you need to practice on. That you're not going to have it completely 100% as soon as you start. Like, you will slip up. There will be times where you do lay on the sofa and scroll on Instagram for an hour, maybe not, but have some other reason, or work gets too busy and you just need to get everything done, and bedtime by the end of it, or whatever it might be. Just not feeling completely knocked back by those moments and just starting again and like doing little bits towards it will then help grow that muscle of consistency alongside all the other muscles you'll be growing with your home strength routine.
No, it's a really good point. And I used to be so hard on myself when I'd miss a workout or, eat what I shouldn't be eating, perceived shouldn't be eating in my head. And I really recognize it with clients now, particularly those who are just starting out, where you get really down about missing a workout and you're like really just kind of negative towards yourself for doing it. And it's like, well, as you say, this is a muscle that we're training. So you can't it's like expecting to be able to squat 100 kilos right at the start of your fitness journey. It's like, well, you wouldn't expect to be able to do that. So if we're looking for kind of
0 to 100 consistency, similar.
It's a muscle to train. So I think that's maybe an honorary mention on this list, is set yourself up for success. But if that doesn't necessarily happen on one day, don't be hard on yourself, because it's going to happen again and again. We just need to roll with the punches and do what you can to stay as consistent as possible, really. All right, final one.
Number 7.
Progressive overload. We've touched on it a little bit already, but
we have.
Please say some more.
Yeah, so all the sort of other tips that we gave is about getting it done. So like getting the workout done. And Matt mentioned with following a program in particular, this can often be built in as part of it. So like Matt said, when we talk about progressive overload, this is essentially making the workouts, the exercises harder for yourself as you get stronger. So you're not just doing the exact same thing every time. As you get stronger, you make it harder, which means you'll just keep progressing until the end of time. So this is a really important factor because this is how you actually get stronger. So over time, hopefully it's built into your program. It is with 20-minute strength, hint, hint. But other programs, well, if it's a good program, it will have progressive overload sort of built in and coached through. And this is not only going to be good for getting you the results that you want. Ultimately, muscle strength is important and helps us live healthy, fulfilling lives. But it's also very motivating. Like if you, each week, if you can see yourself progressing, it gives you that little sort of like tick or that sort of gold star of like, look at all the work that I'm doing that's paying off. I can see the results. And I guess alongside that, I'd recommend tracking your progress as well. So noting down what weights you started off at, where you went next week and the week after. And it's not going to be a nice, neat line of progress. It will sort of have waves, but the overall pattern of the waves will be sort of progressing as you go.
Yeah, I think it's a really good point about having those kind of aims or maybe even specific goals in mind when you're looking at progressive overload as well. I think, I can't remember whether we mentioned this last podcast or I'm thinking of a different situation, but having those like performance-based goals set for yourself alongside some more aesthetic, like superficial goals that
if you do have any,
that a lot of us have is a really useful way to like take the pressure off any of those aesthetic goals and really focus in on this new habit that you're creating and learning and getting better and better at. Because then like you can look back in a couple of months' time and be like, wow, I was doing the yellow band with squats and now I'm on to the red band and holding it really tight. And like you get that real sense of achievement and you can really see your progress through that rather than the like tunnel vision focus on how you look. We want to kind of get away from that as much as possible and focus on you just getting stronger, more confident in your body, more confident in your movement. Yeah?
Hell yeah.
I feel like I want to work out now. So that's it. That's the list. 7 tips. Get your basic equipment sorted, follow a program, schedule it in as much as possible. Don't make it hard for yourself and treat yourself. Have a designated space for those workouts at home. Get in the right frame of mind if it's a moment of pause or a nice intentional workout, and then make sure you are tracking that progressive overload.
There we go. You'll be flying.
It'll be so easy, guys. So easy. Anything more to add, Sai?
No.
I think that's it.
Yeah, if anybody does have any questions or any other tips you want to share, do let us know and we can share that as well.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Cool. Right. We're off to Vietnam, guys. See you later.
Bye.